Yo.
Yo.
What up, bro? Man.
How you doing, boss?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
Come in.
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
You got the disco ball?
Yeah, man. You got a disco ball instead of a lamp. keep the party going.
Got the Lake George poster.
Yeah, of course, man. That's it. Coming soon.
How are you, Hamid?
I'm good. I'm working on marketing plan to show AMC theaters on how we're going to execute in each city in the U.S. For the film. That's what I'm working on.
For your feature film that you did last year?
Yeah, that film there. We wrapped this time last year, like November.
Called?
Yeah.
What is it called? Yeah.
Lake George. Exactly. Lake George, yeah.
Let the people know.
Let the people know this movie is called Lake George.
Amazing. How, like, because this is the first feature film you ever made.
This is my first feature film ever made. I never made a short. I never made a commercial. Never made a music video. Nothing. Yeah.
First film and video in general.
The first time I stepped on set ever was my first feature film. Yeah.
Like, what made you do it, and how was it to even walk into a process like that?
So, I was a celebrity trainer, right? Back maybe 5-6 years ago. And I would be training a lot of these, and celebrities and elite in Manhattan, just all types of different people. And they would you become like a therapist, and you come share stories, and it's one-on-one, and you're very personable with the person, and we start talking, and I start telling them stories. And I remember I had one guy would be like, hey, you ever write down any of these stories? And I was like, I didn't, just because I'm in New York. These are New York stories.
All right.
And that kind of sparked a trigger. And then I think the continuous of, I was, waking up early, I was making a lot of money for the time, right? Like for what I was doing really well, right? I'm making like 40,000-50,000 a month with these guys. And you think that's great, but my time and my energy was just all to them. I was just like on call. So it's like, 4 a.m.
So you were kind of now living your own life.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't. And then I'd come home and I'd just be drained, because I'm also I got to stay on with everyone's problems and shit, I got like the top CEOs and all these different people, and they're coming to me, and I'm also like their shelf also. I gotta like listen to what.
Yeah, because it's not like only you coming in to like train,
not just working out,
and then that's it.
No, it's a whole package. Like I was helping them.
And that's what they pay you for.
Yes, yeah. That's why I'm not, just a personal trainer, right? I was more of like a life coach at the same time as well. And these people, confide in me in their problems, and I'd have to actually, be there and give them their advice. So it's like, and I'm an empath, so I'm taking on like what you're telling me. I'm like visualizing it and like processing it, and I'm giving you back like what I think you should do and how you should do these things. So it started to become a toll. And I remember just coming home, and I'm just like, yo, and I told my girl, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I can't do this. Like, I don't care how much money it is, like I love helping people, but it came to a point where I needed to focus on myself and what I want to do, and that's when the idea came to, maybe I should, what I originally thought, and I talked to my girl, was like, I need to find someone who can write one of my stories down. The Lake George story was a big story, and I was like, yo, this is a movie. I want to find a writer and have him just write this. And, shout out to my girl, because she was like, why don't you just write it? And I was like, I guess I can. I got to figure that out, And then that started. And then I like had the idea, okay, I'm going to start writing. And I'm waking up at 4 a.m., coming back, I'm just nonstop. It's like, when am I going to write this? And how much what am I going to give when I'm writing? Like,
And because this was
trained
in the process of you being a trainer.
Yeah, I'm still in my own mix. So it's like I'm like drained when I'm coming home, you know, my focus in that. And I was like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this right. And I made a bold decision, and I was like, you know what? Or if I just left New York, and did all that. And that was a big change and risk because, you know, on the outside, especially in today's time, when you're doing, it's like, if you have a job and you're making money and, you know, that's good, right? That's cookie cutter. You're doing well.
Right.
Why would you change that? You know, and to do what? Oh, you're going to make a movie?
Yeah.
Are you going to write a movie? That doesn't make sense to people.
And that's also obviously different when you have experience in sales.
Exactly.
And like, I mean, what would be like, obviously you had your full support of your girlfriend.
Yeah.
It means everything.
Yeah.
But like other people around you, like, how is that affect, like, when you were talking about, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna make a movie. Like, I went to Colombia, right?
Yeah.
And to write a movie.
I moved to Colombia, and that was mainly because my father's Colombian, and my mother's from Iran. But I knew my happy place and like my kind of like sanctuary was in Colombia. Right. It was like Cartagena or Medellin, and I could find like a nice, like just small little hut somewhere up in the mountains, or I could be on the beach or something. But
Did you do
isolated? Yeah, I did that. Yeah. So for this project, I mean, I was in Medellin, Colombia, in the mountains, and I had like a nice little finca, they call it. It's like a farmhouse, and I was just isolated from the world. There's barely Wi-Fi. And I was just there, and I was just like, I'm going to write this out. Now, you know, I have money saved and whatnot, and the cost of living is a lot cheaper there. So I get rid of the apartment, get rid of everything here. But everyone else, friends or, you know, family and stuff, they're looking at you like you're crazy, right? Especially some people don't understand that, you know, Colombia is not like what they make it out to be, right? Like on the news and what it is. It's been, so they're thinking like, he's lost it. Yeah. Like he's like, and now I have to fight. I still have to believe in myself, because it's very easy at any second to just be like, fuck, what am I doing? Like, let me just go back. Let me just, like, you know, maybe I'm moving over my head. Like, maybe this is not.
Because your job was technically to make other people believe in themselves.
Yeah.
And now you finally have to do it for yourself.
Yeah. So now I'm self-motivated. Now I have to do that. And
what kept you motivated?
Self-belief and confidence in myself, and confidence and visualizing that I know right now. I knew when I was saying to people like, yo, I'm just writing this thing, and I saw the face, even if they're smiling, oh, okay, you know, I knew what they were thinking. I knew that they were just kind of like, this guy's like, whatever. But I was like, just wait. There's going to come a moment where this is going to be done. And then they're going to look back and be like, oh, I remember you telling me this. I didn't, you know. So I just always kept that visualization of that moment, you know, of when it's complete.
That kept you going.
That always kept me going, because I'm never going to do anything that I say I'm going to do and not complete.
Yeah.
At least without giving my all.
True to your word.
I have to be, because if I'm not, then it's just like, there's no, what's the meaning of even being, you know, a person, you know?
And you also in New York, where true to your word is
word is bond.
Is everything.
That's everything. And I value myself on that. And I tell people all the time, it's like, if I say I have to do something, I have to do it. And it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, all I care about, like, when there's a funeral and everyone's at my funeral and they're there, I want them to be like that man was he said everything he said he was going to do. Like, he was an honorable.
He did everything.
He did everything he said he was going to do. You could be very fake in this world. You say you can do something, you could do this and do that, and then that becomes emptiness, you know? And there's no actual real love or strength and drive in anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, and making money isn't, and I mean, of course, money is great, you know, but that's not gonna, if I'm not happy, I don't care. I don't care. I could be in a cot. I could be, as long as I'm happy with myself, that's important.
Yeah.
So making sure that I'm happy, that's what keeps me going as well. So yeah, other people are judging me and things like that, and they're thinking like this is over, and you have to explain yourself because you don't want to hurt others. But at the same time, you have to be happy with yourself. What's making you happy? If you're trying to make others happy, you're not going to win, and you're going to have this constant like mind, of not satisfying others, and you're just not going to get anything done that you want.
Yeah. So like you obviously went through this process technically by yourself.
Yeah.
And then you start to like really, put it on paper or involving other people.
Yeah.
And that was obviously, like I got the script, listen, and obviously moving in with a director that haven't done anything before.
Yeah.
That's a big trust,
And you know what it is? The first thing I knew was I had to write a product that's the reader can read. So I wrote the script, meaning like, even if someone doesn't like to read or anything, they'll be engaged. Yeah. As if it's a film. I wanted someone, and my pitch would usually be, so once I completed the script, and, it was a 2-3 year process, because, you write the script, and then I'm like, no, but I have this idea, I have that idea, this would be better, you start fixing it, and
the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Until I was like, there's a moment where I was like, no, this is it. Like, I got it. And then you start pitching it to people, and which helps is my contacts from New York, because I was in that circle, and some people were in entertainment, and they were able to, navigate me to people that could help.
Yeah, his contacts, obviously.
Of course, networking is everything, and that's why being in New York is everything. If you're in New York, you gotta utilize that. I mean, it's a great city, but you're here to work, and you're here to meet people, and you have to make the most of it. And I did that, and then offers started coming to buy the script. So I think that's cool, right? I'm like, oh shoot, all right. So but all my creative ideas, who I think I'm gonna put in it, and all these different, how I see it, that I can't do any of that, right? It's just like just sell. Right. So you got a top streaming service, and they're like, oh, we'll buy it.
But how was it like how did people come about with the offers? Like, did people just know you were writing a script? You were talking about it? Like, some people found out?
No, I would reach out to, and like, let's say a new client who I knew who was like, in entertainment. Let's say I knew someone that had worked with Hulu, and I'm like, yo, I got this script, and then obviously I have to be very like forward, right? Yeah. I have to be like pushy. Like, I can't just be like, yo, can you read this? Because they probably wouldn't. But I also have a relationship with this person. Like, I spent hours one-on-one with this person. Yeah. Like, we know each other. So even if you're like, whatever, I tell that person, yo, just read the first 10 pages. Like, if you don't like it, that's fine. They should just read the first 10 pages. And I hit them like, did you read it? Did you read it? Yeah. Did you read the first? Finally, they read, even the busy people, they read the first 10 pages, they end up reading the whole script. They go, oh shit, it is actually good. All right, maybe I'm going to send this to someone that I think, and then they send it to someone, and that person's like, oh wow, this is good, and then it starts building this little like traction of people like looking at it, and then it got shopped around a lot. Yeah. And there were a lot of different offers on the table, but it was solely to like buy the script, buy the story. And in this process, I've like scouted people, like cast members. I'm like, yo, this person would be perfect, right? Like, I have someone that plays Carla in the movie Caroline. I've known her for years, and I'm like, she'd be perfect for it. She reads the script, she loves it. Now she wants to know what's going on. When was this going to be made? And now I'm in this process, and it's like, okay, do I take this offer and then just take the money, because everyone else and my family and everyone else behind me is be like, of course take it, because then the next one you'll be able to cast these people, but get the money, like, because you have no experience, you can't do anything. But now I got to go back, and this goes back to keeping your word to these people and be like, hey, by the way, XYZ bought it,
and they didn't want to do it.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't, no matter. And the money, the highest offer, and I won't say from who, was $600,000. Now tell your family and friends after you have not been working for 2 or 3 years that you just got that offer, that you're going to turn that down.
Because it took 2-3 years to write it.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years,
Yeah. Now imagine telling people close to you who have already been kind of doubting you, and now they're like, oh shit, this is, that you're not going to take that.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going to think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Now they really think you're crazy.
But you also went through the process of seeing money, holding money, experience money in that sense. So that wasn't really maybe too big of a factor, let's say,
I think,
to be blind for,
Yeah, I think for me, it was like, I knew the potential and what I wanted, and like, the numbers didn't make, it isn't
that was stronger than everything.
It didn't matter. Like, what I wanted to do for the art mattered more.
Right.
That was the most important thing.
Because you've never done a video or film before. Like, have you looked at yourself as a creative, like before you, let's say, went into the movie process?
Yeah, I always knew that of myself, but I always felt like I have to make money first before I can do any of these things, because I won't be able to execute those. So I always had ideas in my whole life, like, I want to make a movie, I want to do this. I always wanted to make a movie, and I used to live my life like I want to make a movie, meaning this might be risky, this is crazy, but just do it. Worst case scenario, you can make a movie out of it. And I would do that since I was a kid. And that's why people be like, yo, how are you in that situation? And it was like, a part of it is being fearless. A part of it is, having balls. And then the other part is like, yo, I'm going to live my life. And like, I don't want to look back and be like, what if?
Right. Because you were, not knowing anything about the industry in a sense.
Yeah. No.
Like, obviously you've been around it, but like, you've never been in production. You've never been on set. And like, maybe being, let's say, somewhat delusional.
Yeah.
It was a good thing, kind of, huh?
Like, it was a good thing because I knew it was good because I was able to do the things that I wanted to do, that I thought were the best for the art.
Right.
And that's what changes. That's what changes when you see the film. It's like, whoa, this is actually, like, this is different, and people haven't seen anything like that. And I think it's because I didn't have everyone in my ear, oh, you're supposed to do it like this, and this is how it's supposed to rush out. And this is like, no, how I saw it in my head, how when I wrote it and how I visualized every scene, that's what I had to do. And yes, there was a lot of self-taught teaching. I had to do a lot of that, like a lot, like how many scripts that I had to read, research on, like, what cameras to use, and how does directing go, and how to, like, the pitch deck and the whole process. But I'm a businessman first, right? Like, I'm a hustler before anything. So I knew even when I was writing it, I had to write this in a way where this has to be made. And then I also wanted to know, what's the process of when a film gets made? Like, when you make the script, who does it go to? What do agents do? What does a production company do? What does the distribution do? And I have all these different ideas and figuring out, and I'm like, okay, so now I understand the business model of this whole thing. I'm going to write this where, meaning like I can actually film it, right? Like, not like these crazy, like, scenes that, require all this money. Like, no, it's an independent film. I want to make sure I can make this for the right budget that can actually make. And I did that. And even like with my casting, and every single thing that I had in mind was always to know that this will be a hit, or this will be what people like would enjoy to watch.
Yeah, because you had like both perspective on it. You weren't like, let's say, blind off only the creative process of like, oh, this, I can't compromise this because this and that. It's more just like, you could maybe analyze it more from, let's say, a business perspective. Or like, obviously, walking into a movie process of knowing that you do most of it, like the majority yourself. And gonna probably end up with the minority ownership as well. That, maybe plays into part, like you...
Huge battery in your back, I mean, just for everyone to know, like, I ended up making the decision of putting all my money into the film, right? So I put everything into it. And meaning selling everything I have, every dollar. I didn't want to ask people for money, because I didn't want to start getting other people's opinion. Once soon as someone gives you money, now they have an opinion.
Yeah.
Now they want to know what's going on. Now they're on your ass. And obviously that's hard, but that's also why I said I always wanted to work and make sure I had money, right? And that can go on every scale. It doesn't have to just be for movies, but if you want any type of art, right? Like someone wants to be a model, someone wants to do this, like, or in any field, to be honest, you're a boxer or whatever, like you still have to have some money to be able to pay. Like, I want to pay for the photo shoots. I want to pay for, the trainer. I want to pay for, you have to make yourself something. You have to be a product, especially in the world. You have to be something that someone is interested in. And if you don't have the money, you just think someone's going to believe in you and invest everything in you, you might waste your whole life waiting.
Right.
And I did that. And I did have, I did have to scrounge up, like I put about 700,000 together. I still needed about 350,000, and never asked my parents for anything. They're both immigrants. My father's from Colombia, my mother's from Iran. They came to this country. They worked really hard, and they are supportive, man. I like the greatest parents because, they believed in me. They always knew that drive, right? And I've always shown them, I've been able to make things happen. So they took a chance. They pull out of their retirement, and they also loaned me 350,000. And I'm like, okay, now I can make a movie. And I did that. And now I got that in my head, yo, I heard my parents and I'm on their fucking back. And I've seen them work their ass off their whole life. This has to be good.
It's a lot of pressure.
And that's also why when I made it, I said, I'm not going to let anyone on set or anyone derail or change my opinion, because I want to take the fall. So I don't want someone to be like, no, you shouldn't do it like this because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, maybe this person knows more than I do. And I'm going to look back and be like, I should have never, I didn't want that regret.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm just going to do it the way I see it, the way I want this to be. And this is, if I'm right, then this is going to go the way
right. Because obviously looking from the outside, let's say outside being anyone around you, especially your parents, you have a track record of you don't crack under pressure.
Yeah.
You get shit done. You stand by your word.
Yeah.
And sometimes usually that's more valuable than having, let's say, this huge experience, because you will figure it out regardless.
And I think
and do you have that confident, obviously, in yourself as well, that strong as let's say
I just know.
Always had it?
Yeah. I just I just always think there's a way.
Yeah.
There's always a way to find something out. And that's self-belief, and that's being able to, even when people say something to me, I have a wall. I'll take criticisms, I'll take anything, but it doesn't enter.
Yeah.
It's not oh shit, that person just said something. I listen to everyone, and I'll be like, oh shit, maybe they are right. There are always ways to change and be better, and that's always what I'm striving for. But I will never let someone else's insecurities or what their beliefs be 100%. They're not me. You know what I mean? And I can't sit here and tell anyone oh, I could do this, I could do. I just know what I'm capable of.
What's the hardest, or what was the hardest process, or let's say point in this whole journey you've been to with the movie? From, if there was anything from starting to write to right now of trying to this shop with distribute the film. What was the hardest point?
All right. Now, depends on the definition of hard, right? Because
you can take it as, let's say, a point in the process where you was really put to the test, or in the sense of your mental mind being in it, or having any doubt, or just being way more uphill than you thought.
For me, the hardest part and this is not going to be for everyone, but the hardest part was keeping a smile on my face so no one else panics. When I don't know what I'm going to do, right? Like, I don't know how I'm going to make it. Like, and I'm not selling the script. And I have all these other different people that I've already casted depending on me and believing in me. And making a decision of like, okay, no, I'm not gonna sell the script, but I still don't know how I'm gonna make the movie. That was hard. Like, that was like hard, and I never wanted to let anyone know that ever. You know, you stay positive. You always stay positive, and I think that's why it was so easy for me when I was like, yo, once I realized like I'm gonna put it all in and make this happen, it made it so much more fun. Like, and it was hard. The entire process is hard. The entire process is extremely hard. You know, there's not an easy part about it. But when I'm doing something that I feel so strongly about and that I love, I can't say it was hard. I can't. Like, it was fun. It was fun. Even now, it's fun. Even the stress that I have, it's still fun. You know, it's like, man, I'm not like, you know what's hard is when you're working and you just feel like the clock is not moving, right? You're at an office or I'm training someone and you're just like, yo, what? You just like, oh my God.
Because you felt for that.
Exactly. But this, I'm like, shit, man. Like, okay, maybe there's no money coming in right now, maybe whatever, but I know what I'm going to finish. I know what I'm going to accomplish. And yeah, it's hard. It's stressful, but I'm fun. I'm happy. You know, you could be happy and stressed. You can be happy and things could still be tough and hard. And that's because I'm doing something that I love to do. That's because I'm doing something that I love and enjoy, you know? And I feel for anyone that doesn't have that opportunity. And I know people be like, well, that's easy because, you know, you had money to do this. And I'm like, no, I didn't. Because you know what was hard too? Creating the training business. You know what was hard too is like, you want to keep going back to the day I was born. And then we start talking about those trials and tribulations. Everyone has them, right? And that's another thing. And anytime something gets hard for me, I think about everything else in the world or someone else who had something probably to go through that was way harder. And I'm like, I don't got that bad.
For sure. Oh. It's amazing, man. Well, you're in the process right now. Hopefully people will see it ASAP.
They will see it, yeah. January 2025, we will be releasing it, and initially it'll be in theaters.
The trailer's out.
Trailer's out, yeah. Trailer's out now on YouTube.
And you can see like the whole cast, social media.
Yeah, Lake George the movie on TikTok, Lake George the movie on Instagram, and you look up, you know, Lake George the movie, the trailer on YouTube. You can get.
I'll put it right here. So.
Yeah, don't matter. You're gonna get excited. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, my man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.